Καλησπέρα. Χαιρόμαστε πολύ που είστε εδώ. Είμαι η Ασημίνα Προέδρου, Αντιπρόεδρος της Ελληνικής Ακαδημίας Κινηματογράφου και εκ μέρους του Διοικητικού Συμβουλίου σας καλωσορίζω όλους σήμερα σε αυτό το ξεχωριστό masterclass. Καταρχάς, να υπενθυμίσω ότι η συγκεκριμένη εκδήλωση βιντεοσκοπείται, για όσους δεν το γνωρίζουν. Η Ελληνική Ακαδημία Κινηματογράφου είναι ο φορέας που εκπροσωπεί την ελληνική κινηματογραφική κοινότητα, σκηνοθέτες, σεναριογράφους, ηθοποιούς, παραγωγούς, καλλιτεχνικούς συντελεστές, κριτικούς και άλλους επαγγελματίες του χώρου. Από το 2009 απονέμουμε τα βραβεία Ήρης, τα ελληνικά βραβεία κινηματογράφου, τα οποία θα απονεμηθούν και αύριο εδώ, στη στέγη του Ιδρύματος Ωνάση. Παράλληλα, εργαζόμαστε για την ενίσχυση της παρουσίας του ελληνικού κινηματογράφου και για τη σύνδεσή του με την ευρωπαϊκή και διεθνή κινηματογραφική κοινότητα. Φέτος, και με αφορμή των Ευρωπαϊκών Βραβείων Κινηματογράφου που θα πραγματοποιηθούν στην Αθήνα τον Ιανουάριο του 2027, εγκαινιάζουμε τα Iris Close-Up. Μια νέα δράση της Ακαδημίας που φέρνει κοντά στο κοινό σημαντικές προσωπικότητες του παγκόσμιου κινηματογράφου μέσα από ανοιχτές συζητήσεις για την τέχνη και τη δημιουργία. Θα θέλαμε να ευχαριστήσουμε θερμά το Ελληνικό Κέντρο Κινηματογράφου, Οπτικοακουστικών Μέσων και Δημιουργίας για την ενίσχυση και τη συνεργασία, καθώς και τη στέγη του Ιδρύματος Ωνάση για τη φιλοξενία. Φέτος έχουμε την τιμή να έχουμε μαζί μας δύο γυναίκες που έχουν σφραγίσει το σύγχρονο ευρωπαϊκό σινεμά με εντελώς διαφορετικούς τρόπους. Η πρώτη είναι η εσθονή σκηνοθέτρια Άννα Χίντς. Η πολυβραβευμένη δημιουργός του καθηλωτικού ποιητικού ντοκιμαντέρ Smoke Sauna Sisterhood, μιας ταινίας φαινόμενο για την αλήθεια, την τρυφερότητα και τη δύναμή της, που άγγιξε κοινό και κριτικούς σε όλο τον κόσμο, κερδίζοντας μεταξύ άλλων το βραβείο σκηνοθεσίας στο φεστιβάλ του Sundance και το βραβείο καλύτερου ντοκιμαντέρ στα Ευρωπαϊκά Βραβεία Κινηματογράφου. Η Άννα θα μας μιλήσει για το Creative Fire, για το πώς μπορεί ο δημιουργός να διατηρήσει ζωντανή τη φλόγα της δημιουργίας. Τη συζήτηση θα συντονίσει η κριτικός κινηματογράφου Λίδα Γαλανού. Άννα, Λίδα, please welcome on stage.
Kalispera, good afternoon. We're very happy to have Anna here, who has a personality warmer than the film she made. So, Anna, as we know, you come from Tartu in Estonia, which is an important city, but a small city in a small country, which is kind of what we have here. You studied folklore and comparative literature, but also film directing, photography as well. And you're still studying, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then you made a few short films before presenting the world with this amazing documentary, Smoke Sauna Sisterhood, which placed you on the map as one of the, directors to watch, which is another thing we'll talk about in a little while. This is a very special, very unique documentary for those of you who have seen it, that unfolds almost entirely in the darkness of an Estonian sauna, where women strip bare not only of their clothes, but also of their fears and inhibitions and share their stories. The film won more than 40 awards. Among those were, as Asimina said, the Best Director Award at Sundance and the Best Documentary Award at the European Film Academy. And it was distributed in more than 30 territories, and those filmmakers amongst you realize how difficult this is to happen. I think this would be the right moment to watch the trailer of the film, which will get us into the mood and the atmosphere of the film, which we're going to discuss.
Õnneks on pühakots, kui puhtast saad. Lapse sünnitid ei sanna. Poeg sündi, siis tuli peremismajja. Aga kui tütar sündi, või
panged lendasid mööda õue laiali ja ta jooksis vikatiga mulle järele. Niimoodi, et nagu niidaks niimoodi vikatiga ja ma jooksin elu eest ära. Ja ometi ta väga armastas meid. Seda on ilusti põhjas. Ema poolt kõige parem tunnustus, mis me olen õdedega saanud, on see, et oi, sa oled nii kõhnaks jäänud, et see on nagu kõige parem kiitus ükskõik millele.
Põhiline oligi see, et mehed sind tahaksid, sest siis sa oled väärtuslik naine ja ainus hea asi minu keha puhul oli see, et mul olid ilusad tissid.
Mul läks väga kaua aega, kui mina ilusaks hakkasin saama.
Sul on kogu aeg olnud julgus joosta ära. Sul on olnud julgus teha teisiti. See on midagi, mida ma nii imetlen ja mida mina ei ole kunagi julgenud teha.
So now I think we should start with talking a little bit about your creative process before we move on to the years that passed since 2023. Would you like to tell us a few things about how you wrote the film, how you edited it, this procedure, and about maybe the team you chose to have around you to do this very, very hard work?
Yeah, Sas. Yeah. Yeah, the film took 7 years. On 6th year, we also started editing, so 2 years of editing. And then after that, touring the world for almost 2 years. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, it's always the question, where does a film start from? And when I think about the real start for this film, it actually started from my childhood. When I was 11, and my grandfather had died, and his body was in the country house, in the farmhouse, and it was one day before funeral, and we all went to smoke sauna, my granny, my niece, my aunt. And so I come from smoke sauna culture. It is a special culture. It's smoke sauna is the old type of sauna, and it's a place where women used to give birth, wash the dead, and heal. And I always knew as a kid also, okay, you go there to wash your body and also your soul, but what does it mean to wash the soul? And then that was the first time of experiencing what washing the body, washing the soul means, because my granny there revealed things about grandfather that she had never spoken before or after. She revealed how he had left her with 4 kids after the war. She let out different emotions. There was shame, there was question why she was not enough, there was anger. And I'm there 11-year-old and just experiencing this kind of openness, vulnerability. And she let everything out. We washed. And once we went out and put the clothes on, I felt that Granny had made peace with grandfather. And I remember this feeling. It was very visceral feeling. Like, oh, you know, like, okay, this is something that changed my life, that this kind of space is possible. And this feeling stayed with me throughout different challenges while growing up. And now one of the things that I do when we talk about creative process is that I, while choosing an idea or path, it has to become embodied in me. It has to become visceral, not just in my mind. So coming to the smoke sauna sisterhood, it was 2015. I was in a monastery with my mother in Thailand. We have had really difficult relationship with my mother. And we went there to heal. It was 26 days of being silent, doing meditation, being with yourself, like really being with yourself. And in that silence, I started to question, like, okay, there is silence, but there are so many voices inside me. Where is my voice? How do I recognize my voice? There is a lot of, chit-chat happening. Is the choices that I want to make in life my choices, or who do they belong to? So I started to question all that. And then I noticed also a lot of voices that had been silenced from generation to generation. And then came this but I have that smoke sauna, I come from there. What if I share that space to the world? And then I could go, when there was some very important thing, I could go to this lady monk. Otherwise, I couldn't speak, but I could go and ask something. So I went there and I asked for a pen and a paper that can I write down this vision for film. I feel it very strongly in my body. And then she was looking at me and she was like, no, you cannot, because you know the rules. And this is what she taught me, that when this is really deeply inside you, this idea, this vision, it will stay with you. So now go, meditate, don't think about it, let it go. And this is what I did. And actually, she taught me this method that I now really use. Again, like filmmaking is such a long journey. We talk about author cinema and challenging journey. And I always think that there's only a limited amount of films that I can ever make or somebody can ever produce. So how do you recognize which path to go forward? So when this initial idea comes, then now I suppress this feeling to write it down immediately. I let it be, and I start to see, does it start to haunt me? Does it start to really knock on me, I need to do it? Because this is how Smoke Sauna Sisterhood was born, with this viscerality and letting go of the idea and then coming out from the monastery and feeling very strong about it. And so I do that consciously. And then after some time, when the idea is knocking on my heart and body and soul, then I know that, okay, it has that energy to take forward, even if it takes 7 years. But with this, so I came out from the monastery and I felt so strong, and I was like, okay, I feel the film, I know this space, I know how powerful it is. And I felt that, okay, the world will also come forward, like Estonian Film Institute and other funding possibilities. But actually I got rejected. When you get feedback from the funds, then you usually get these points. And I remember there was points about festival potential, and it was really low, no festival potential. And now coming back, when it was premiered in Sundance and it won the award there, then the jury came to congratulate me. And really was like, oh, no, yes, it's so strong, and it's strong because of this. And these really were the points that in the beginning I was rejected for. So this is something to think about. And now this is again something to think about, is okay, putting myself back to 2016 with this rejection. How do you still trust your voice? How do you still continue? Because if I had followed those suggestions that they gave me, it would really have had zero festival potential. And now we come to this where I have really reached, and is one of the key things for me in life and in art. Who are the people? Who are the people that we choose because we choose each other? Who are the people that we go to this journey with? And how to have these people who understand and believe the vision and are ready to take risks. So I was lucky to have these people around, and also choosing certain people and saying no to certain people. Like, for example, there were cinematographers who told me, you have to fake the heat. You cannot film it in real hot smoke sauna because the temperature is like 80, 90 degrees Celsius. And I was like, no way I can fake it. Then we don't have a film. Real. It has to be real, because with the heat, the physical dirt starts to come up to the surface, and also the emotional dirt and all the emotions. So it's also how to have that that trust inside you to say no. It has to be the real hot smoke sauna, and go through people who tell you or patronize you and say, but you don't know anything, you're making your first feature documentary. How to still trust it, how to wait, how not to go into relationships out of desperation, but really find these people. And I don't know how it is in Greece, but in Estonia, I feel we have this inferiority complex, maybe coming from post-Soviet traumatic history. But it's like often I feel people don't recognize the valuable thing in front of them coming from their culture. So smoke sauna sisterhood idea was also first put down because of like, okay, the world doesn't care. First of all, it will not be cinematographic. Go back to your indigenous roots and do it there and show it there. But it's a journey, and it has been a healing journey for Estonia also, and for our community to recognize that actually something so local can be so universal. Something so local can be precious. But because of this inferiority complex, only when outside recognition comes, then people start to like value
Accept it.
Yeah. So that happened with us when it was selected to ITFA pitching forum, and so then people started to notice it.
Talking about something that's so very personal to you, but definitely it's very personal to the people who participated, the ladies that were in the sauna and shared their stories. How was it that you approached them? How did you gain their trust? And also, I guess, how did you handle the responsibility that comes with that?
Yeah.
Also, I have to note that Anna is generous enough to accept questions throughout the discussion. So if at some point there's something you want to ask before the end, just raise your hand and we'll take your question.
Yes, please. Yes, responsibility is a big is the core of this film, because it's so vulnerable, it is so intimate. And one of the things that I had, actually I had 3 things that I can point out, but in film school, I was taught that you should seduce, you should manipulate your characters to come into your film. And I was very much against it. I was thinking that how can this be? The film is about giving space for the women to be empowered and connect to their voice and their bodies, and not overpower them. So I didn't convince anyone. That was one rule, not to convince anyone. I had done a short documentary before about this monastery with my mother, and it was a terrible experience because my mom was wanting it, then refusing it, then wanting it, and I understood that no way. I can only do film when people know what is my aim and vision, and they fully want to participate. And so because I come from the culture, I had already the trust, also the cultural access and trust, and I knew a lot of the women. So I met them, and I was very transparent in terms of like what intimacy I'm looking forward, and they were like, okay, you go to the core. I'm like, yes, I want the real thing. Are you in or are you out? And when they were no or hesitant, I didn't convince. Then, because I made it 7 years, and that is how time can be a co-director. And especially with documentaries, it can it can be really beneficial. I started the film before Me Too and anything, so like what started to happen was after 2 years, some women who were in the beginning no or hesitant, they started to contact me and were like, hey Anna, I want to be in the film. Because I had time, you know, then they could come and participate. So how not to convince was the first thing. Then the second thing for me was, like I was really, really scared that how to make sure that this non-sexual glance that is in smoke sauna will also transform to the cinema. How to make sure that the women and their bodies are not sexualized, because female bodies are sexualized. The moment, you know, female body is out from the womb, already like in our language, for example, in Estonian, the term for vagina is happy. It is häbe, it's coming from the same word like shame. So you're born,
really?
yeah. So you're born with shame. You're already like conditioned, you know. And so it was like let's wash off this shame, you know, but how to be respectful to the bodies. So what we did was that we spent really time, me and cinematographer, in sauna before filming on my body, like calibrating almost the glance. Because from my studies from photography, I know very well that there is always a glance. There is nothing like objectiveness. It's always, we all have a glance, we all have a vision, yeah. So how to make sure what is that glance, and that glance is non-sexualized. So and then it was really, really calibrating in a way. Like I was like, here I feel that you are judging me. Don't do that, you know. And then finding the language where I felt really safe, and then I showed it to the women. And this is something that I tell people, and I want to practice myself, is that whoever films your bodies, or if I film somebody's bodies, the people need to know how my camera is treating them. They have the right to ask that. And so they knew, they watched, and they felt safe.
You showed them all the material before it was
Yes,
edited.
that this is the language. This is then also following like who wanted to show their face, who didn't want to show their face. And then the third.
Oh, because I was wondering about that. It was a different question. I'm sorry to make a parenthesis, but you show the female bodies so much more than the faces. Most of the time it's body with a voiceover. So I was wondering why you made that choice. But maybe it also had to do with them?
It was both. It was like artistic and from them. So I was following, who wanted to show their face and who not. But in a way, it is really similar to what you experience in smoke sauna, because there is no chimney. You let the smoke out before. The walls are dark. It's very cinematographic. And in that darkness, you like the face or the names they're not important. It becomes like a collective experience, a collective embodiment. And and then, you know, a lot of the women in the beginning said that, we don't want to show their face. And then came on the second year, one friend who was like, Anna, I want to be in the film and I want to be with my face. And then I was like, oh, but I made, already in my mind, this artistic ego is like, oh, but I was making the film now without the faces. And then I was like, oh, no, you were making a film following following the voices of these women. So trust the process. And so I trusted the process. We went to the filming in the sauna. And then I understood Kadi, because she's there with her name and face, she had really made a gift, because through her face, she gives to the audience a face to relate to and listen. And one of the things that I can share, what was like really a aha moment for me throughout the process, was this, that before starting to film, of course, I knew and I know that it requires a lot of courage to share your story, to share fully your experience. But while making the film, I really realized that it requires a lot of courage to hear the experience, to really hear each other out. And this is how the magic of smoke sauna happens, that there is actually witnessing of this embodiment of these realities of these women. And it's really hearing. It's not about wanting to preach. It's not about teach. It's about hearing. And it is uncomfortable in societies also. It is uncomfortable when we are not used to hear vulnerability. When vulnerability is shamed, when certain courage, certain strength is like heightened. So that was really an experience for me, I think, in my life, where I hopefully learned how to listen. And Kadi, was amazing teacher in that. And another thing what I learned throughout making this film was that it's kind of embracing myself also as very intuitive human being, embracing intuition as a very powerful tool, and how to find the people, when we talk about who are the people around you, how to find the people who respect intuition and the process as they would respect, I don't know, me giving facts from books, And it has been a journey to find these people, because there is, like, when we talk about film industry and film world, there's a lot of nasty things and a lot of people who are narcissists and patronizing and telling you how is the real way of making films. And the more I learn and grow, I see that there is nobody can teach you how you can make your film. It's about really connecting as an artist with yourself. What is the way for you? Where do you thrive? And finding these people who appreciate and understand that, and how to articulate that to others. But one of the things that I was speaking before about the trust, very important, was this also, that so usually when somebody says yes, production brings papers, you sign
The
contract, yes, and you give away, in a way, your rights as a person in front of the camera. And it felt so wrong to me. So, and I believe also that when we want to make something vulnerable and intimate and powerful, we as filmmakers, film team, we have to take risk and vulnerability ourselves. So we took the risk and agreed that only when there is a cut that I can share with the women, they watch it and they have the right to say yes or no. They have the right to take themselves out from the film. So imagine, for a production, it's a huge risk. You film it 7 years. But this was the risk, very, very important, where the women also, like, again, part of this, that they were not overpowered by the production, but that they had their right for their bodies, for their stories, and the right to say no. And only then, when they watched the cut, then they were like, yes, we agreed to that. Then they signed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Two questions that come to mind. One is theoretical and the other one is practical. I was wondering, there are very sensitive themes that come out of the film. So I was wondering to what extent they came out of the discussions of the women participating, and to what extent they were what you had in mind in the beginning, if you had discussions with them. There's, of course, the issue of the female body. There's a lot of trauma and healing. There's always healing in the film. Nothing is left without that. Of course, there's the idea of collectiveness, collectivity, collective support between women, in this film at least. And also there's the issue of storytelling, because that's what they do. And you are connected to your traditions, and tradition is storytelling. So I was wondering how much of that was, preconceived in your mind or came out of the discussions, and the practical question afterwards.
Yes. So I had a rule that we don't talk about anything before going to smoke sauna, in the sense that, there are a lot of things in filmmaking that is about trust, really, really trust, and also trusting the process and trusting the power of smoke sauna. And because I have been to so many powerful smoke saunas in my life, I know that, for example, if we would go all together right now to smoke sauna, I don't need to know what you have gone through. We don't even need to see each other's faces in that darkness, but I can totally trust that a powerful stories would emerge. And this is the trust that I had, and to keep it really like raw, so that it was always stepping into the unknown. One smoke sauna session lasts around 3-4 hours, sometimes more. The longest was, I think, 7 hours. You are inside the heat, you go out, you come back. And it was like, it was always entering to this unknown, to this space, and being ready, like all these things that I talked about, emotionally ready. Like women came, we spent the time before smoke sauna together, in the nature, because it's in nature, in the farm, cooking on fire, going to pond, but not really talking beforehand. Of course, I knew some things about the women, because I knew I knew quite a lot of them. But what I can say is that a lot of things start to emerge that people have not shared, even to themselves or to their close ones. So this was always the unknown. But what I knew before was this, that I knew that I want the film to have a cyclic structure, because when we talk about the philosophy or the spirituality where smoke sauna belongs to, it is very much connected to nature, and the time is not linear. Like when I think about my granny, who was sauna lady, a healer lady, she taught about time and space as cyclic, like in nature. And also very important element in the healing is water. And what my granny used to say was that sometimes we can find ourselves in deep, dark winter, and there's just ice field. That's when everything inside us is frozen. Trauma freezes us. But then how important it is to remember that ice can be melted with warmth, with community, with the sisterhood, with the brotherhood, with humanhood. So I had in mind that the film would start with ice, that there is like frozen water, and in the end, throughout all the seasons and cycles, we will end in the flowing water. And this is the life, this is the energy of life, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And the practical question,
Yeah.
you mentioned before that you were rejected by the Estonian Film Center. You mentioned that you shot the film for 7 years, it took you 7 years, with a very specific subject and quite courageous, I'd say. Where did you find the producers to support you?
The first producer, so I had two producers. The first producer, we had done one short with him, and he just totally just trusted me. I don't know where we, it's where we find each other. It is being open to these connections, and we found each other in film school. Like he had already finished, but when I was doing the short that I started in film school, and he felt very strong about this everything. And he was actually super important. He was there for 4 years in the most difficult time, where, you know, the project was rejected, or you know, it was difficult. But then unfortunately he died. So these kind of things also can happen in life, and then it was then came Marianne. So first one was Eero Talvistu, and then second was Marianne Austrat, who came on board, and she had read about the project when it got funding. I mean, eventually we got funding and support, and she was thinking that how is that possible universe that this project is being made and she's not part of it. And then when Eero died, she came on board. But it's, how do you find? Well, I can tell, I was recently in Cannes, in Estonia, part of Estonian delegation, and we had a lot of meetings for our new film. It will be a fiction feature. We'll go. But so I was thinking, okay, how do I recognize the people? Because this is really the key. And, you know, okay, Estonia is small, 1.3 million people. You can make a call, you know, people know each other. It's a small village. But when you meet people in film industry events, or, you know, pitchings, or, you know, even when you have half an hour, you don't really connect to this. I mean, it's like we can go and have a nice mask, but how do you recognize each other? And at the same time, making film is like jumping into the unknown. And so me and my producer for the new film, Evelyn Pentila, were like, okay, let's invite them to swim. So in Cannes, we made, like we had our appointments not in cafes, but we went to swim. And I can really recommend that, because suddenly it's like meeting a human being. It's not anymore the safe cafe and where you are like, but you know, it's the waters, and now I have the stories with them. Like those invitations that we had to those people, all of them agreed, and I feel that we have already like a connection. Yes, a history. So it's like finding creative ways, because and recognizing each other. Also, when because Moksana Sisterhood was also co-production. So, for example, when the Icelandic composer that we co-created together came on board, very natural. Come to smoke sauna. So that is part of the process, and this is what I want to continue. So actually, first time when we met with Edward was, hello, I'm Anna, I'm Edward. Let's get naked. Let's go to sauna, and we are now good friends, and it really. Like this is the thing for me now when I'm working on this feature fiction also, like how to create process into the sometimes very rigid fiction shooting, how to create the process where miracles and unexpected can happen. My background is in contemporary art. Before film, I was doing all kinds of different artistic things, and it's like it's for me so weird. Sometimes I feel that the shooting becomes like illustration of a script, or like already people have their film in their head. Yes, I have in my head, but how to also have +1 + 1 = 3, something unexpected, something that you didn't think before, something that happens there, and how to be ready as production, as all the people, to recognize that. You know, like in film school, they told us about Tarkovsky, who was shooting, and then I think, it was a dog who came like suddenly. And if it was very strict, this kind of shooting, no, there's no dog, let's get the dog out. Then there is not space for these miracles, but there was space, and the dog became very important. Later, the dog was discussed in film theory lectures. But how to have that, how to co-create, how to co-create with intuition, how to co-create with the unknown, how to co-create with not wanting to control everything. And again, it comes to the people, that you have the right people who trust you in that, who do not put you down, who do not say that, no way, this is not how it is done, but who come to swim with you in the creative waters.
Okay, who'd go swim with her? Are there any questions up to now about the making of the film? Yes, there's a question there.
Hello, thank you. It's really interesting what you're saying. My question is about the 7 years of the process and how you can really keep it going and not fall into traps of perfectionism and keep the inner fire and the inspiration, because it's quite a tricky time period. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the question. This is one of the key things. It's connected to actually the other topic that we are going to talk about, or maybe touch, is how to deal with the pressure, you know, and pressure from also industry. But okay, the creative fire, I mean, all this for me is this, that I feel that we have to find, each of us, and there's not like one way for that. It's not like my way is your way, but we each have to find our way to strengthen our spirit and mind and connect with ourselves. So for me, it is, I regularly exclude myself from the world. I go to the forest. We have this hut that has really nothing. It's really not a livable hut, but like a very, very, you know, basic and well coming, water coming from the well, and nature around. And I exclude very consciously myself regularly, also out from social media. And it is a way in nature, through meditation, through different techniques, dancing, going to smoke sauna, being totally like shaking off all this pressure or tension. This is the way what I do, like regularly, me. But I feel that we need to find some kind of way for all of us. And it's very, very difficult to do it alone. Like, one of the big realizations for me has been really the importance of we. That we do the film together. It is not I do the film. We create, to have these people around me, who around you, around us, who do not care if you fail or if your film is successful or you make it or not. To have this sense of purpose or living that is beyond filmmaking, to have really deep understanding that my value is not from outside, you know. So some kind of spiritual practice or physical practice is really that helps with that. And it's the same when you have the pressure of success, because, you know, we are like, okay, we never know how our film is gonna be taken. It's in a way like really sadomasochistic path. I mean, it's horrible in a way. It's like, as an artist, you have to be so vulnerable and so open and so honest, and there you're so open, and everyone can tell whatever about you. Everyone can criticize. So if we don't have that, if I don't have that practice, like soul practice, I would collapse. So, and how did I in these 7 years believed in it was through what I said before about this, like that I really take time to understand what is the idea that I want to do, that it is really visceral, that I know that it has come from my soul, so that it can go through all these rejections or challenges. And yeah, alone would be difficult, but how not to leave ourselves alone, how to have this like a tribe or film family that you create together, that you live together, that you breathe together through it. And in the end, where it's not about the result also, but it's about the process. Because when I feel that when there is a creative trap where if we want to make films for awards or festivals, then it's a death for creativity, I feel. Because then we get into this trap of wanting to please or wanting to. You cannot escape from this uncomfortableness of jumping into the unknown. So we all have to find our ways how to create peace with that uncomfortableness and this unknown, because every film you make is jumping into the unknown. It doesn't matter if your previous film was successful. What does it mean even? So it's always jumping into the unknown, and then new challenges happen. Like when there was the press conference for European Film Awards, then after winning it, then the most burning question for people there was like, Anna, what do you do next? When do you make the feature fiction? Documentaries are often underdogs, short films more underdogs. It's like the industry wants to consume you. The industry is there and just wants more, next, bigger, And when we let ourselves into that whirlpool, into that then we can easily get crushed. So finding some kind of practice for all of us as humans, it is, I think, very, very important. And so, yeah, again, what I said, that I exclude myself when I was touring with the Smoke Sauna Sisterhood around the world, and was really, really exhausted. It's like, coming home and being the worst to the closest ones being like on that year when I was really extensively touring, I saw just limited days of my daughter that year. If she would have been smaller, I don't know how I would have done it. Probably not. She now will be 20 this year, but this is the price, And then you think about, okay, like what is the price that I'm ready to pay, and then when I reached home and I started to like heal myself like back, I was like, okay, I have to figure out myself a structure. Otherwise, I will just be burnt out. So now, for example, I also put it into the contract that I make for the new film, how to protect myself.
So hang on, to get this from the beginning. The film was made, you went to Sundance, you won a huge award. The European awards came, you became very well known, and people discussed you and wrote about you, and you gave interviews. How did that feel, and how did you handle it in the beginning? Did it come as a shock? Were you pleased with it?
When I create, I don't think about the result really. It's again a mental, almost meditation. Like the pressure comes, and I've practiced Vipassana, for example, Vipassana meditation. So I noticed that, okay, now is the pressure. Now I have inside me to prove something. Let go, let go, let go. So I don't think about. Like I just focus on the thing, focus on the work, and focus on that it has to resonate in my body. And so when it got the feedback that it got, it was in that way, I was ready to fail. And I think this is very important, to be always ready, quote unquote, to fail, to be ready to do the things with that courage that, okay, I jump to this creative forest or the creative waters, and I might not come out of it, or nothing might come out of it. But I feel as an artist, this is the way, at least for me, that I have to be ready like that. And so, and because the film and all the stories there, and it became like a mission to me. So I was ready to go and travel and share this this amazing space of smoke sauna and healing. But in the end, I was like, so I don't know if I can say burnt out, because burnt out means that, for me at least, that, okay, nothing is there, but I really burned myself. And that's what I mean also to now think about, I cannot repeat it anymore. I mean, let's say even if it happens that a film is again like traveling, then how to protect yourself, how to protect your body and mind. And it was like, it was really a thing. And that's what I'm saying, industry is ready to consume you when we don't protect ourselves. And we have to protect ourselves as authors. Right now, one of the very important things that I am also part of in Estonia is how to make the invisible work visible, how to have fair contracts. We are working for that with Estonian Audiovisual Authors Union and Directors Guild. We did a survey putting down, like asking all the directors and writers and like putting down our working time. And when we calculated it, then brutto, so not netto, brutto for 1 hour is €3 or less cents to €3 brutto. So, and it is not sustainable. It's really not sustainable. So how to make that work visible? So, for example, the contract that I'm right now working for the new film, I put down all the actual work, and there is not enough money in Estonia to cover that, but it is there, and it is visible, and it will become my investment. And so there are ways how to protect ourselves. Lot of exploitation is also happening in film world, and how to be aware of that, and how to really protect and nurture yourself and each other. That is super important. So, because in the end, it's like we are risking with our life. Really, we are risking with our life. And when I was touring all around, I was thinking a lot about, for example, the director of who made Searching for Sugar Man, and who committed suicide after winning Oscar. So it's like mental health, physical health. They are real important issues to talk about. How do we take care of ourselves and each other?
I guess that part of the answer to this is also that your team, the people around you, whether they're your actual crew, the people you make films with, or the people you choose to have in your life. So what is this we to you?
This we is a way for me to exist as a human being and as an artist, really. As we can change, we can make changes. As we alone, it's very difficult. And these the we for me are the people who respect each other. Simple things like I don't know. No yelling, like very big, but you know, it's not to take for granted, in the sense that there are a lot of things that are happening in the film world are taught and created by generations before us. And there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of mental and emotional violence that is taken for granted. So I was just right now in our film school awards, and I was listening to one young filmmaker who said that she had been taught that when you make a good, strong film, there is shouting, there is crying, there is all that. And I was like, no. For example, when you ask, who are the we? I want to find people. I want to embrace myself with people with whom we can be respectful, transparent, hear each other out, and find the strength and belief that 1 + 1 = 3. That we do it together, that it is everyone's process. I want every person on the set to feel that this is our thing. And when everyone feels that, then the results are also there. But you really to share that space, and to just rethink, how do we want to do it? Which way we want to create films? Not to just take something that is being taught for us by somebody else, or, oh, this is the way. No. Where do these things come from? Like, there are all kinds of, like, for example, director cannot see the budget. Where does this come from? No, you can. I can say that the contract that I have, very much there. We are like partners. So like imagining, how do we want to live, and how do we want to live and create sustainably, like in the long run. Yeah, and how to find these. When you ask who is this we, the we for me is also the people with whom with whom it goes beyond just a film. That it is really like deep friendships that are forming. It's about, like, in the end, when, let's say, films are there, this year there is one European Film Award, next year somebody else. Films are there, but the time that we spend together, the connection, the human connection, the vulnerability. I want to be a director with my team where I can say that I do not know, I need time. I want others to feel safe to be vulnerable. This is what I need. And that's what Smokes on a Sisterhood also taught me, that it is possible. That it's possible to create something intimate, powerful, raw, with transparency.
I'm wondering if we're going to get to your new film very soon, but I was wondering if this need for some time, a pause to register things, also had to do with, I mean, if this had to do with the fact that after Smokes on a Sisterhood, you made a few short films instead of diving into the feature film. Was that part of why, or was it just a form you wanted to follow?
It somehow happened, but yeah, there is like, again, there is such hierarchy in film industry where the short films are the most underdogs, and you know, documentaries also, and I, when just while making Smokes on a Sisterhood, I started to, or we started to question this, that, you know, we have the space for intimacy and vulnerability, but men, when they watch the film also, they are like, several in Estonia, they were like, okay, why is it so that we have the space and we go there and we talk about the bullshit, not about the real shit? You know, there's such fear of vulnerability and openness, and then so from all that experience came the Sauna Day, a short, and it's like a poem, and it's a poem where what is important is not what is said, but what is unsaid. Because the men who talk there, they talk about the work and roof, and it's not about that, but what is like not said is important. So, and when it just came, because my background is, as I said, in contemporary art, and for me it's like ideas can take different forms. So it's like poetry is powerful and beautiful, and I don't see this way that you make shorts and then you go to features and then you never go back to shorts because they are just like a stepping stone or calling card. No, it's a poetry, and how to recognize what form the idea wants to take, and there were people again who were like, it's so bad idea, Anna, you make now the short, you know, like this is so ridiculous, but it was really, really good. Also for me, yes, to kind of for the landing, you know, and actually the film has done and traveled a lot, you know, and done really has flown a lot, and it's yeah, there like these kind of things are there, like, and it's just how to always have this, how to question these kind of stereotypes that are also about filmmaking. No, you shouldn't make shorts. Why? Why? Where does this come from? And what was the question?
Oh, the question was whether this helped you take some time.
Yeah, I mean, I know I actually took time. Like, so for the film that we are right now.
Tell us a few things about it.
Okay.
First of all, it has the most amazing title and the most fantastic description. So if you could share. And it's a fiction film?
It's a fiction film. I must honestly say that the responsibility of Smokes on a Sisterhood was so huge. You know, also the film coming out and you know, making sure that everyone is safe, and so that I felt that, okay, right now it's a bit done with the documentaries. It was such huge responsibility of holding these lives and bodies, and And then when I reached home after the touring, I was really like a zombie, and I was scared that maybe there is no ideas anymore. So again, what I did, I excluded myself. We rented this country house out of signal. Again, no running water, well, pond, forest, mosquitoes, sauna, very good. And in that, so I kind of put myself into this kind of self-formed residency of a month. And first 2 weeks, I was just unloading, like all the anxiety, the pressure. The pressure had started to hit me. Anna, what do you do next? What do you do next? Is there anything? Maybe it's nothing. And then then it was like unloading, being in the forest, and then I really connected with creativity in a way that we always have ideas. Creative well is never empty. It's about how to be connected with it. And in order to be connected with a creative well, we have to be connected with ourselves and the universe, you know. And then the ideas started to like flow after second week. And again, I did this thing that I didn't put them down. I didn't write them down. Then they started to haunt me after some time. I was like, okay, they are haunting me. This is something real. And then that's where the root for the new film was born, and it is very much fiction. It is very much it's rooted in mythology of both Estonia and India, because essentially it's a love story and inspired by our own love story. My partner is from India, and I reconnected to my childhood while growing up with legends and stories and myths told by my grandmother. And I was like, wow, it's like it's all flowing there, you know. So it's almost like I feel like giving birth. You're like, okay, I don't know what is going to come next. I don't think about what is in fashion or something like this. I just go to that forest and I become pregnant and I look, okay, what is coming there? And then it's like, okay, now it is Black Hairy Beast.
That's the title.
Yeah, romantic body horror musical based on, inspired by our own love story. And wow, it's growing. Okay, songs are coming out, cool. And being like, being inspired, I think that's the thing. Like how to feel inspired. How not to get, it's like coming from the head to the body. I really feel when we talk about even smoke-sauna sisterhood and traumas or healing, it's in the body. It's coming to the body. What is the body telling us? We can so much lie with our words and being just here, but what is in the body? What truth is there? What starts to come? So for me, really, the ideas are born from the body, from embodiment, and it's like, and yeah. So now we are writing it and going to the, hopefully to the development in August. So yeah, it's very, very inspirational, and it's like. And it's again very interesting to talk with also journalists, because people make these concepts about you. Oh, Anna, but I thought that you are making documentaries. Well, why did you think that? Yes, I make documentaries, but I can make also fiction. Yeah, it is this when we are not bounding ourselves to certain concept, like, but we are artists, we are human beings. Where is it flowing? Not going with our mind and putting, oh, it has to go there. No, where is it actually flowing? When I was growing up, I thought, and I was taught that it's like you have to push through the walls and everything. But spending time in nature and looking at the river and looking how the water is going, water is like finding its way. So now I'm like, I see and take the moment, and I really have to take moment for that to understand where is it flowing where is the idea flowing? Where is it getting support? Do you feel the energy? And this is another thing, like for example, how do I recognize my people or our people? Is for example, I've had also a lot of breakups. It's like also coming and being ready to tell that sorry. This relationship is not working, you know. To be ready to do that. For example, in editing, like smoke sauna editing was this, that we looked at the material and it was like, okay, there is energy. I don't know yet where it will exactly be, but it has energy. Let's celebrate it. And there were some people who were saying, no, what do you mean? There is energy. This is not like, this is not the way how to talk about edit. But no, it is a way how I talk about my edit or films. And then you find people who don't demean it. And there is energy. For me now, in the cut that there is out, there is energy. And it's like part of this working with the intuition and not putting it down.
So we still have time for a few questions. If you'd like. We have 10 minutes. Right. Are there any questions?
Hi.
Hi.
Pleased to meet you. Maybe I'm mistaken, but smoke sauna, for me, it's like a metaphor. And I was wondering if you were like, you had inner voices that said, is the audience going to understand that this is kind of a metaphor for me? Or do you have a fear of what the audience will understand from your perspective?
Metaphor for you, for what? What can you maybe share? What is it for you?
For the dirt of life, for the bad things that happen, how we have the catharsis after the smoke sauna maybe. And in general, what our inner world says about us and the thoughts that we cannot express right away, that we express throughout our bodies and our spirit.
No, it's beautiful, yes. That is the smoke sauna, yeah. Yes, well, it works on both levels. It's a physical place, it's a physical space. But yes, it is like also as a cosmic womb where you enter and that can hold. And it's almost like opposite to the social media and the world that we live in, because here we put masks on, we put clothes on, you know, metaphorical clothes also on, how we want to present ourselves and all that. And there you take everything off.
Yeah.
You take everything off and you connect really as human beings. And when your question was that, was I scared if audience understands it?
Yeah, to be more specific, if you were scared about how are you gonna express it on camera from the director's perspective, from the actors, and how the audience is going to feel about it. Are they going to get my point? Because if I'm thinking about it, if I was you, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do to be more specific, to be more honest with the audience, to make it clear for them?
I think it's very interesting what you ask, in the sense that that can also be really a trap for us as artists.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I'm asking.
And for me, when, let's say, I put myself into this situation, when I start to worry about that, I understand that I'm in my head and I'm in my anxiety, and I do not want to create with anxiety. So it comes back to this, what I referred before to, whatever spiritual, mental practices we have, to be able to come from that anxiety into the body. So I just, of course, these moments come. these moments absolutely come all the time, they come. But then it is, again, important to let go of them. So answer to you is that no, I was not afraid. But the moments came, and then I, again, I don't know, did some sauna session or danced it out, or I sing also, I voiced it out. I do every day something like this, something bodily to connect with myself. And with what I mean by myself is this exactly with the heart, with the soul, with the body, where there is no fear. When there is a lot of anxiety, like anxiety and frustration, when I notice that I have a lot of anxiety and frustration and tension, then I know that I'm far away from myself. And then sometimes it's so high that it's difficult to just unload myself. Again, come to the we. I have my soul sisters and brothers, and I ask help. I'm like for example, what I just 2 weeks ago or last week, what I did, and this is like a tradition. We did this. It's my birthday was, but it's actually like a festival that we always do. It's a festival where people come to this forest, to the total uncomfortable, no luxury, well and mosquitoes and everything, and we connect as humans. We sing, we sauna, we build something together, and it's so enriching. So I consciously create this kind of spaces. For me, community is very important. And it's not like my family was like, oh my God, Anna, you just, like we took loan, we bought this new nice flat in Tartu, and I put it to rent, and I went to live in a community and renting myself not so nice flat because of that community, because it's so essential to me. And I have experienced through films also that when you create with that community, like the film was also created with community, you feel full, and these anxious tension moments can like disappear.
So maybe the smoke sauna can be translated also as a community?
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I have also an experience of making one short documentary. It is this Estonian national television competition every year. They select 8 stories and then they premiere them in prime time. And there was one that we did with a community of mothers who dumpster dive food and make delicious food for their children. So, and I'm one of those mothers, and we made it together, and it ended up that year changing our system, changing like Estonian system. Like in the beginning of the year, shops and ministry, they were like, okay, we don't have these discounts, and Estonians will not really have discounts. And we created a movement, and we created changes into this question, because it's a question like, okay, there is a totally normal orange, and then you put it to garbage. When does it become a garbage, you know? So I have these experiences of creating changes also, but together with community. And that's why for me, also when we talk about film community, I call it film community. How do we come together and rethink and redream how we want to create and live? And this makes my heart sing and gives this joy to live, and not just to follow something that is being said, that this is done because it's done. These are the contracts because this is done. No, when we come together, we can create big changes.
Thank you very much.
Is there another question? I think we have one last one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you
One.
very much for everything.
Thank you.
I would like to ask if there were any scenes
that you thought a lot if they should be in the final cut, and then if you put them in the final cut, or you thought that they should be out of the final cut, and now rethinking of the feature, if you think that you put the exact scenes that you felt that they should be in the film, or you're thinking that one or some scenes should be in the film or not. Thank you.
Thank you. With the final cut, I am happy, but it took 2 years. Yeah, I mean, you know what is interesting? I was always so scared of that, or, you know, how to make sure that everyone feels safe whose story is there. But I didn't realize that, and didn't think before that there are people whose story is not in there and they are sad about that. So I really had to take time to be with these people to make sure that they don't get the feeling that their story doesn't matter. And I mean, it's you go with the women to sauna, and most of them have some kind of sexual harassment or some trauma stories. So how do you pick, you know, how do you pick like which from these 10 rape scenes? So, but then it comes again back to the crew, the team. So it was really done together. And one of the things that I realized about myself also, or how I work in the process, is I need time. I need to have times in between. So like to process, to like, so for example, not like, 3 months in a row and edit, but if we have money for 3 months, how to have 1 month, then pause, 1 month, pause, to really, like, because how I create and how I think and how I live and make films is with subconsciousness. I want my subconsciousness to start collaborating. And for that, these pauses, what I take in life also, but also in the filmmaking, they are essential. And now I can articulate them. And you know, we have running out of time, but you know, we have all different brains, and I am also neurodiverse, yeah. So it's also, it has been a journey to accept and understand, this is the way how I function. So I articulate that now to the people, and then we can find the ways not to put yourself into a box. But yeah, so time was there. So there was like a lot of contemplation, yeah.
And I want to thank you for being so honest and so open and so inspiring.
Thank you.
And we're greatly looking forward to your next steps, be there a film or whatever, you know, pleases you.
Thank you so much.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
Thank you so much.